shocking reaction. The Johnson household welcomed their brand-new German Shepherd with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. Their young daughter Emily had spent the entire day eagerly awaiting this moment. When it finally arrived, she extended her small hands forward, her face beaming with childlike wonder. However, rather than responding with a friendly tail wag, the dog became completely motionless, his gaze fixed intensely on her, his entire body rigid. Then suddenly he launched himself toward her. The family's breath caught in their throats, certain their new companion posed a threat. Yet moments later, the startling reality of his behavior would render them completely astounded. Before we dive in, please remember to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel. Also, I'm genuinely interested to know, which country are you tuning in from? Please leave your location in the comments below. It's amazing to see how widely our content reaches. The Johnson residence was filled with anticipation. For several weeks, the family had discussed bringing home a rescue dog. Today marked the culmination of that dream. A beautiful German Shepherd crossed their threshold, his collar gripped securely in Mr. Johnson's grasp. His intelligent eyes surveyed the surroundings with keen awareness, each movement deliberate and careful. The parents shared knowing looks, though underneath their enthusiasm lay traces of concern. Introducing any new canine companion brings unpredictability, particularly one as imposing and strong as this breed. How would he adapt to their home? Would he bond with their young daughter Emily, who had been practically vibrating with enthusiasm all morning? 3-year-old Emily burst into delighted applause upon seeing him. "Doggy," she exclaimed, attempting to rush forward before her mother's gentle restraint stopped her. "Slow down, honey," Mrs. Johnson advised softly. "Give him time to settle in first." Even so, Emily's bright eyes remained glued to the dog's impressive stature. The shepherd inhaled deeply, his ears rotating as he studied the small child from his position across the room. His tail offered one hesitant wag before becoming still once more. The atmosphere grew tense as Emily lowered herself down, her small arms spreading wide in a display of pure, trusting affection. Their very first encounter was about to unfold. The German Shepherd remained upright, his penetrating stare focused entirely on Emily as she took tentative steps in his direction. Each tiny movement forward caused the family to tense up. Mr. Johnson's hold on the leash grew firmer, ready for any scenario. The dog's ears shifted forward, his attention unwavering as if attempting to decode the little girl's motives. Emily stopped several feet short, her expression radiating wonder. She cocked her head sideways, examining the dog with the fascination only children possess for something both mysterious and captivating. Gradually she extended her arms outward, her delicate fingers splayed in a welcoming gesture. "Here, doggy," she spoke softly. The shepherd's frame grew taut, his tail dropping lower as his chest rose with a quiet rumble emerging from deep within. Though barely audible, the sound was sufficient to make Mrs. Johnson inhale sharply. "Move him away," she pleaded, anxiety creeping into her tone. Yet Mr. Johnson paused, recognizing the fragility of this critical moment. Emily remained unfazed, her petite form swaying as she crouched lower still, hands maintaining their open position. Her pure innocence appeared to dissolve the room's anxiety. For one suspended moment, the dog remained perfectly still. Then his head angled slightly, his intense gaze focusing as though weighing whether to accept her wordless offer. The entire family pressed closer, hearts racing, anticipating his next move. A moment of complete stillness enveloped the room. Emily's arms stayed outstretched, her bright eyes radiating complete trust. The German Shepherd gradually lowered his head, his nostrils flaring as he tested the air separating them. The quiet rumbling in his chest intensified, causing Mrs. Johnson to grip her husband's sleeve. "This feels dangerous," she hissed under her breath. But before Mr. Johnson could retreat with the dog, the shepherd suddenly propelled himself forward. Emily let out a small cry, not from terror, but from startlement, as the large animal eliminated the distance instantly. Sharp intakes of breath filled the air as both parents surged forward, convinced catastrophe had occurred. Instead, the shepherd performed something entirely unexpected. He gently pushed his muzzle against Emily's outstretched palms, then settled himself onto the ground, lying completely flat as if paying homage to her. His intense expression grew tender, his tail creating a soft rhythm against the floor. Emily burst into giggles, her fingertips exploring his dense coat. The family remained motionless, amazed by this sudden transformation. What on earth just took place? Mrs. Johnson breathed, her voice quivering with both relief and wonder. Mr. Johnson released a long breath, relaxing his hold on the leash while his pulse still thundered. Emily clapped with joy, encircling her arms around the shepherd's neck. For the first time, the dog bestowed a gentle lick upon her face, cementing a connection that had left everyone witnessing it utterly speechless. The Johnsons found themselves at a complete loss for words. In one instant, their new pet had rushed toward their daughter, and in the next he was prostrate on the ground before her. Relief wrestled with lingering fear, creating confusion about what to think. "That came too close for comfort," Mrs. Johnson murmured, her limbs trembling as she instinctively moved toward Emily. However, as she attempted to draw the girl away, the shepherd abruptly stood again, his stance alert, his attention shifting beyond Emily's position. A piercing bark erupted from him, so unexpected and powerful that everyone startled. Emily remained frozen, clutching her stuffed animal, while the dog moved quickly, forming a protective circle around her. Mr. Johnson stepped closer, alarm evident in his voice. "He's too erratic. This is too risky." His grip on the leash intensified. Yet regardless of his efforts to pull, the shepherd wouldn't budge. His form was rigid, his fangs visible, his focus locked on something invisible to the rest of them. "What's causing him to behave this way?" Mrs. Johnson shouted, her heartbeat accelerating as the dog positioned himself as a barrier between Emily and the distant corner of the yard. His ears stood at attention, his muscles tight, every fiber of his being radiating heightened awareness. The family's apprehension deepened with each passing second. They had brought this dog home mere hours ago, and already his actions defied explanation. What they failed to recognize was that his peculiar conduct wasn't hostility, it was an urgent alert. The shepherd's barking intensified, reverberating across the yard like a siren. His fangs gleamed, his body unyielding as he fixed his stare on the dense foliage bordering the fence. Emily held her stuffed toy closer, her young face showing confusion rather than fear. The grown-ups, however, felt ice creep through their veins. Something lurked nearby.